The morning began like any other in the deep folds of the Cascadian wilderness. Dew glossed over the moss like glass, and the air hummed with quiet, unbroken stillness. I had taken to hiking alone for years, seeking the kind of quiet that empties the mind and fills the soul. My boots sank into the loamy earth, each step accompanied by the whisper of pine boughs swaying far overhead. In those woods, I always felt unseen yet somehow known. A guest in a realm that had existed long before human memory. It was somewhere along a narrow deer trail, just where the forest thickened enough to dim the light, that I heard it. A sound so soft, so strangely delicate, I almost convinced myself it was part of the wind. But no, there it was again, a thin, reedy cry that seemed to catch in the air like a thread snagging on bark. I froze, listening. It wasn't the cry of a bird. It carried too much sorrow, too much intention. My heart quickened as I moved toward it, stepping carefully to avoid snapping branches. The sound drew me deeper between ancient trunks, where lichen draped like old curtains and the ground was littered with the slow decay of centuries. I followed the sound on instinct alone, not yet understanding why the urgency in it felt so personal, so impossible to ignore. The grove where I found the source was unlike the rest of the forest. Light fell in fractured shafts through the high canopy, the air warmer, heavier. And there, tucked between a fallen log and a tangle of fern, was a shape I could barely comprehend at first glance. Dark fur, small but wild-eyed, and trembling so visibly I could see the quiver in its shoulders from where I stood. It was a baby. Not a bear cub, not any species I'd ever seen. The proportions were wrong, the head slightly larger, the eyes startlingly forward-facing, the fingers long and grasping. My breath caught in my throat. I had read stories since childhood, the kind whispered in ranger stations. Bigfoot. The word flickered through my mind, absurd, and yet suddenly the only explanation that didn't seem more far-fetched. The infant whimpered again, a sound almost human in its plea. No mother appeared. I scanned the shadows, expecting the thunder of a protective parent crashing toward me, but the forest remained still save for the infant's small, erratic breaths. I should have been afraid. I should have backed away and left whatever I had stumbled upon untouched. But something in me shifted the moment our eyes met. They were wide, liquid brown, holding a question I couldn't answer, and a trust I hadn't earned. Without thinking, I knelt, speaking softly as if my voice could bridge the vast, wild gulf between our worlds. The tiny creature didn't flinch. Instead, it reached out one trembling hand, the pads of its fingers brushing the back of mine. The contact was electric, not in a supernatural way, but in the sense that my heart had been jolted. It wasn't just a lost animal before me. This was a child, alone. I wrapped my jacket around its frail body, acutely aware of the warmth that seeped into my arms. Its fur was damp, matted with what looked like mud and pine needles, and beneath it I could feel ribs pressing too sharply against my forearm. I whispered assurances I wasn't sure it understood, but the infant's breathing slowed, its head tucking into the crook of my elbow. I began walking back the way I'd come, glancing constantly over my shoulder, half expecting a towering figure to materialize from the ever-thickening green. But the forest let me pass. Step by step, I left the grove behind, carrying the weight of a creature I had no idea how to care for, only that I must. The hike back seemed longer, each twist of the trail a reminder of how far I was from anyone who could tell me what to do. By the time I reached my cabin, my arms burned from the effort, yet I didn't dare put the infant down. I laid it gently on a folded blanket near the wood stove and set about the most basic tasks.